We do know that in the 1890s, the per capita rate of known murder by poison, in Bengal at least, was over 3 times that in England. So certainly the idea at the time that people had was that there was a lot of poisoning going on in India. Common narratives, one of them is kind of frankly, it's a global stereotype, and that's a gendered idea that women committed poisoning a lot. It's not just in South Asia, you see it in Greek mythology as well. I mean, frankly, it's centuries long.
You don't suppose Sheila?
Possibly. Poison is a woman's weapon.
A woman's weapon?
David Arnold has recently published a little book on poisoning in India, and he goes back to Hindu scripture, which has stories of the female poisoner. So I do see cases in my records of wives poisoning husbands, especially young, unhappy wives who had been through arranged marriage, married to much older men and were unhappy and took a lover, couldn't get a divorce because divorce was not an option. You see those cases, but frankly, I also see plenty of cases of husbands and husbands' families trying to poison wives. So it went both ways, but I think the obsession with women and wives, I think it has to do with the fact that women were traditionally carers, right? And so the idea of a female poisoner is such an inversion of that stereotype, of the intimacy of being cared for in the home, by the wife, by the mother. So I think it has to do with fascination and horror with the inversion of that kind of stereotype of the woman as carer. There was also, from the British colonizers' perspective, I think there was a real phobia of Europeans being poisoned by their Indian servants, cooks, ayahs. Again, that has to do with care. And that has to do with all of the power imbalance of colonialism. You see similar narratives in Atlantic slave societies in the same period, in the Caribbean, for instance, where European slave owners were terrified of being poisoned by their domestic slaves working in the home. And so when I do my research, I was really on the lookout for those kind of cases. And actually, to my surprise, I didn't find many at all. I found about 3 cases out of thousands and thousands. So I think that's a story about the phobia, the anxiety being much greater than the actual number of cases that were detected.